Hey, good evening. I'm Bill Warner with EntreDot, and here we are on Monday night, live with EntreDot at 7 o'clock. So, for the last 3 weeks, I've been talking about culture moments. I've been doing a 1 minute video every day at 10 o'clock for 3 weeks in a row on one point about culture, one after the other, 15 of them. And I've enjoyed it. It's been helpful to me. It's helped me sort out what's important about culture, what are the important aspects of it. And I hope it's helped you as well. So I thought I would devote one program, one Monday Night Live, to summarize what I think are the really most important ones, at least for me. So these are my top choices out of all these culture moments. And I want to spend some time to try and tie them together. But when you think about culture, you got to understand where it comes from in the first place. There's no doubt, there should be no doubt in your mind, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that the culture comes from the founders of the company. This is their company. At the onset, they own most of the stock, them and maybe two or three others, and they've got some a leadership team that they've brought on board to fulfill what's needed for the top management of the company, and it goes on from there. Whatever their values are and how they portray them to the rest of the company as the company grows will be the culture of the company. It comes from them, and it's not going to come from anywhere else. Not some two or three employees that say, hey, let's have this culture of the company. If it doesn't come from the founder, it doesn't exist. You might have competing viewpoints on the subject and argue it forever, but when it comes down to it, it's the head people, the founders, who are whatever their values are in life, whatever their values are in business, whether it be honesty, integrity, caring for people, having a social cause or social purpose. The list goes on. Whatever they are, it's whatever the founders say they are. The founders need to, though, communicate it and instill the culture that they want in everyone in the company. So the culture of a company is actually carried out by everyone, following the lead of the founders and the top management team over the life of the company. It never goes away. Culture is what it is and will continue to be. It may change, particularly as leadership changes or the importance of certain aspects of culture change. The nature of the business has changed, therefore maybe the culture has to, say, be more caring, have more social, have a stronger social purpose, whatever the case may be. But how I'm beating it to death here, I realize that. But let there be no doubt, the culture comes from the leaders. And if you're a founder of a company, or you're the CEO or the president of a company, or the managing partner of an LLC, you're it. People are watching you. They're taking your lead on what the culture, how you act and how you respond is the way they will. They will emulate what you do, because it's coming from you. You're the boss. You carry all the cards. So enough on that. I guess you got the point. I'm going to now go through my eight, get it over here so he goes, eight top choices for important aspects of company culture. So let me get on into it here. The first one I tag is values. And I've mentioned it already. The values that come from the leadership of the company that define who you are as people, as a team, and as a company. How you are to your customers, your partners, your investors, whoever else you're working with, industry consultants, distribution partners, whatever, manufacturing partners. However you portray the values that you hold kind of sacred, it's the core of who you are and what people can count on. Values could be honesty, integrity. We meet commitments. We're honest people. We do what we're saying we're going to do. You probably, not probably, you should be talking about what your values are. Write them down. Put them up on a chart in the cafeteria. Communicate them consistently on your website and in all your communications with people within your company and with people outside your company that you're doing business with or for. Have a set of values and communicate them and follow through on who you are. You say you are who you are, you need to be who you are. Always. Values. That's my first choice. Go on to the second one. Companies, teams within companies, teams of people are built on, good teams of people are built on really good working relationships. And these relationships have to be built every day, supported every day, enhanced every day. Relationships with team members, relationships with your boss, relationships with the members of the team, relationships with other teams that you're supporting, relationships with marketing and or sales, relationships with the founders of the company. Relationships have to be maintained. You each, as employees of a company, are not in the little, a sphere all on your own and you're independent. No, you're part of an organization. You're part of a company. A company operates because people are working together. So if you're not able to build and maintain and support solid working relationships, the company's going to have a hard time. It's going to be dysfunctional. You don't want that at all. So place a high importance on building positive working relationships. And as leaders of your company, founders of your company, require that, insist upon that, play it out yourselves, show you that you are building relationships with them and you're going to reciprocate. Okay, relationships. Now, why are all these relationships important? It's because it builds trust. You're getting to know each other. The core of teamwork, what makes teams work, whether it's 2 or 3 person teams or an entire department of 10 people, or it's the team being the entire company. If there is mutual trust throughout the organization, you trust each other, you rely on each other. It's the core of teamwork and will, quite frankly, spell the success or the lack of trust, your failure as a company. It's that important. If there is not trust going on inside your company that has been built through these positive working relationships and getting to know one another and built on a set of values that you all commit yourselves to, then you're in trouble. You got to start again with values, build relationships, and build trust. Trust takes time to build. Good deeds, good conversations, good response to people over time builds trust. You want people to trust you. You have to be therefore trustworthy, and vice versa. That's how trust is built. Next is, now that you're trusting each other, it would be a great idea that you also listen to each other. And I call it listen generously, with both your ears wide open, uninterrupted, without other things competing for your ear time. You're listening generously to what other people are saying. You want your attention focused on what somebody else is saying, without at the same time going on in your brain all sorts of calculations on how I'm going to respond to what he just said or she just said, or a point she made that I don't agree with. Here's how I'm going to respond. If you got all that crap going on in your mind, well, this other person is making or trying to make an important point and trying to get you to understand what that is, it ain't going to happen because you're doing something else besides listening. You're calculating what your next response is going to be, and you have stopped listening. You need to make sure that that doesn't happen. When someone else is speaking, you shut the heck up and listen. You not only shut up from talking, you don't interrupt their sentences to make your point as a counterpoint. You let them finish their point. your mind is focused on their point so that when they finish, and you know when they do, they sometimes say, and that's what I have to say about that. And you say, okay, now it's my turn. But you're going to, whenever you respond, you're going to respond in full knowledge of what they said and what the point is they were trying to make. Wow. If that is going on in your company, you are going to be making great headway because you're getting great ideas from others that you're understanding, and you're going to try to add value to those ideas and make them better instead of turning off listening and figuring out how to respond and interrupting them before they finish and having conversations with other people in the room while they're talking. In other words, being disruptive. If that kind of stuff is going on in your meetings and your relationships with others, you need to stop it. Correct yourself. Listen, listen, listen. Use your 2 ears and your mouth. You give it 2 ears because it's the more important thing than you talking. Listen. Okay. Now there's another aspect of listening. It's kind of touchy-feely. It's listening with empathy. Empathy. That means I want to get to know why in heck they're saying what they're saying. What's driving this? Why is this so important? What's their motivation behind this? So I not only want to know what they're saying, why it's so important, I want to know a little bit about them as to why this is so important to them. Why are they making this point the way they're making it? Why are they saying it the way they're saying it? It's okay to ask empathetic questions. Why do you think that? Why is that so important to you at this point in the project? What led you to conclude that this is so important at this point in time? Questions like that are okay. It helps you're listening generously, and it helps you understand them as people. My God, what a powerful concept. I understand what they're saying, and I know where they're coming from. Wow, that is a powerful relationship. It builds trust. It was caused by your developing really positive working relationships underneath the values that you hold dear to your company as to who you are as a team. Yeah, see how these kind of hang together? So that's empathy. It's often forgotten that being empathetic is okay. It's not a weakness. It's not touchy-feely baloney. It's real, and it makes relationships much more powerful and meaningful. Also related to empathy is, once you do understand where people are coming from, you're compassionate. You're a caring person, and you show you care. You say caring things. You have caring thoughts. You have caring motivations. You're compassionate about your own ideas, and you're becoming compassionate about the ideas of others. That would be very helpful, wouldn't it? Being compassionate in the way you're listening to people and relating to people is just fine. It lightens things up. Show you care, be empathetic, and by all means, listen. The next is communicate, communicate, and communicate. I only wrote it once. You've heard the term talk the talk, walk the talk. Well, that's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking the talk. Communications is, I guess, the glue that holds all of this together. You think that maybe after a couple of times of explaining your values and listening, and you kind of got it, and you trust people, that, okay, communications is not that necessary because people got it, right? No, wrong. People forget easily. People go into the ditch easily. Misunderstandings occur frequently. New members of the team come on board and don't know all of this. So there have to be constant reminders of what your values are, constant working hard to maintain relationships, constant show of trust, constant listening with empathy and caring, and that takes you communicating, talking to people in lots of different forms. So imagine this, that you're the leader, you're the founder of the company, or you're the CEO or president, and you're walking into your building. That is, if you have a building these days, but you'll have a building back soon. and you meet an employee in the elevator, and they ask you a question. Well, what do you do? Was that, I'll have to get back to you on that. Maloney, you'll answer it right there on the spot, openly, honestly, with integrity, and all these fine values that you hold dear as a company. Then you thank them for their question. You're walking, off the elevator, down the hall, and you see 3 or 4 employees gathered together in somebody's office, and you just stop by and say, "Hey, how y'all doing? Hope you're having a good day, a good start here this morning. What's going on? Hey, by the way, thanks for bailing us out with a customer with that bug fix that you guys produced literally in 24 hours. Thanks a lot." They really think a lot of us that we responded that quickly, and it was all because you guys did it. See what I'm doing? I'm walking around, taking an opportunity to communicate a value and acknowledging their success and recognizing them all in one fell swoop. It took me 3 minutes to do that. Then I go onto my office and handle my email or something like that. So communications is something that you have to do every day, many times per day. And by golly, don't miss the opportunity to communicate with a small group, an entire team, half the company, a customer, an investor, who's ever in the building or in the conference room you're going to be in. You're communicating things about your company in a very open and honest and forthright way. It's like a drum beat. When an orchestra plays a really fine music piece, there's a drum in the beat of some kind. Some percussion instrument is keeping time. You're always looking out for the opportunity to communicate something about your company, acknowledging success, recognizing great work of people, reinforcing your values, reinforcing the trust that you have in them as people, as members of your team and employees of your company. You're spending time listening. You're not always shooting off your mouth. You're asking questions and listening. But communication is a two-way street, is something as a leader of the company, something you have to do every day. No doubt about it. And every day for as long as your company exists and as long as you're the leader of it. The final one, my 8th one, is follow through, commitment. I would suspect it is perhaps one of your values that we make and meet commitments. And we carefully make these commitments in full knowledge of our resources and the risks at hand and what, say, the customer, in the case of a customer commitment, what the customer wants and needs and is expecting of us. With all that information, you make commitments, you apply appropriate contingency to it, you buffer it up a little bit because you know it'll happen. Something unknown is going to happen that's going to slow you down and put you at risk of not meeting the commitment you made. So you added some number of days or hours or weeks to your commitment on the delivery of something. Then you proceed to execute and proceed to meet. Now and then, you miss it. With all that contingency you put in it, some giant risk that you didn't foresee causes you to be delayed or causes you to miss a commitment, unfortunately. Well, what do you do then? You just broke your track record of making and meeting commitments. Well, it happens. How you handle it is going to be what matters to the person or company to whom you made the commitment. So the way you handle it is in a forthright, honest way, admitting very openly that we are unable to meet our commitment, and we're sorry for that. Here's what we're going to do, though. And you explain your recovery plan and the resources you're going to apply to it, what the new plan will be, what your new commitments are, why you think the commitment now can be made and met in light of whatever caused you to miss the original commitment. You recover, and you've done it honestly, forthright, in a trusting way. That builds trust with the customer. You pull it off, you meet your commitment, albeit delayed, they're going to remember you did this in a very forthright way. So make and meet commitments and recover from them and meet the next one. So there's my 8 choices for culture moments. I hope they were helpful. Hope you enjoyed them. I hope you find benefit in them. Thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.